Governor Emefiele has been remanded in Kuje prison after he was arraigned today in court by the federal government. And more agitations and pressure mounts for Governor Akeredolu of Ondo State to resume duty since he returned to the country for a medical leave, where he has since been in Oyo State. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Wakimaloye in Abuja. Let's begin by letting you know what happened in the courtroom today. It's been a busy day in most of our courtrooms, but one major activity that drew the attention of a lot of people is that of this man, the former CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele. The federal government has arraigned him on a 6-count charge bordering on alleged procurement. The original charge, which was 20 counts, to the tune of 6.5 billion naira, has been reduced to 6 to the tune of 1.6 billion. Emefiele is the only defendant in the new charge. The former CBN governor appeared in court today for an application for bail, pleading not guilty to the 6-count charge after it was read to him. In the amended charge sheet, the federal government alleged that Emefiele illegally bought 43 vehicles between 2018 and 2020, worth 1.2 billion naira. The court afterwards ordered that Emefiele be remanded at the Kuje Correctional Center. The former CBN governor was escorted to the center around 10:40 a.m. today.
So what has happened today is simple. It's in line with the administration of criminal justice system. The arraignment has taken place. The defendant was in court as ordered by my Lord the Honorable Justice Adeni. You recall that on the 8th of November, the court has granted him interim bail and handed him over to us. He has been available, and we've been able to produce him to court. And he came to court willingly and has submitted to the jurisdiction of the court.
We had equally prayed the court for expeditious hearing and determination of the case. And my Lord had given us a date also for trial. My Lord had told us that we should assemble our witnesses, and I believe with the cooperation of the defense, the case will be heard and determined expeditiously. Thank you so much.
We're right to say that the witnesses are ready to come testify.
You can see that we pledged before the court that delay will not come from the state, and we are very pleased to tell you that we are ready, prepared to assemble our witnesses and discharge the honors that really placed on us to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt.
Those were the lawyers involved in the prosecution today, speaking after the matter was heard at the courtroom. So much to talk about, as always, on this program. Never a dull moment. We'll be checking in what is happening in Ondo State with Governor Akeredolu, who was since being back in the country after a medical leave, but there are agitations that he should resume work in the state. Those who say it cannot be governed in the state from another state. Well, we've heard from the governor's side some time ago, but we'll be hearing more on the new agitation in town about Governor Akeredolu's whereabouts. Also, we'll be talking about the withdrawal of police escort on VIPs in Nigeria. It's an order from the president. How will this play out? We'll be getting insight tonight from an expert. Before we get into all of these conversations, let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
The appeal court sitting in Abuja has affirmed the election of Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed. The panel of 3 justices were unanimous in their decision. According to the ruling, the appellant failed to name the polling units involved in the said allegations. Neither was he able to state was missing in the forms. The court also holds that the appellant is unable to prove how the said improperly filled forms affected the results of the election. However, the new Nigerian People's Party candidate in the March 18 governorship election and Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf was not so lucky as the appeal court overturned his election. In a unanimous judgment delivered today by a 3-member panel of the Court of Appeal, declared Nasiru Gawuna of the All Progressives Congress as winner of the governorship election. The appellate court agreed with the judgment of the State Governorship Tribunal that fielding Governor Yusuf was in breach of the electoral law as he was not qualified to contest the election. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has released 7 officers of the Nigerian Army and 7 Nigerian Air Force operatives allegedly linked with internet-related fraud. The suspects were arrested by the Kaduna State Zonal Office of the Anti-Graft Agency on Monday and remanded in custody of the Commission for further investigation and possible prosecution. However, the matter took a dramatic twist this morning as armed NAV officers invaded the EFCC office located at number 4, Woodno Road in the state capital to enforce the release of their colleagues. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has presented certificate of return to the winner of the November 11 off-cycle governorship election in Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma, and his deputy, Chinyere Ekomaru. Shortly after receiving his certificate of return, the governor explains that his victory is for all Imo indigents. Meanwhile, Usman Ododo of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and his deputy, Joel Salifu in Kogi State, also received their certificates at the INEC headquarters in Lokoja, Kogi State. The People's Democratic Party and the Social Democratic Party have rejected the outcome of the November 11, 2023 governorship election held in Kogi State on the grounds that the election was marred by irregularities. At a news conference in Abuja, the secretary of the PDP in Kogi State, Mr. George Diker, says some agents of the Independent National Electoral Commission were found with already written results of the election before it was held. At a separate news conference also in Abuja, the national chairman of the Social Democratic Party faults the electoral umpire for declaring Mr. Usman Ododo as the governor-elect of Kogi State despite written petitions of irregularities in 3 local government areas.
There you have it. You've been served with your political roundup. Now, let's get into our very first conversation tonight. The Ondo State Governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, has been asked to resume his official duties in Ondo State physically or transmit power to his deputy, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, so as to promote transparency and accountability in the affairs of the state. The Coalition of Civil Society Organizations for Democracy had held a press conference yesterday in Abuja. The convener, Dr. Tunji Shaolu, addressed journalists. He criticized the development in the state where Governor Akeredolu has been governing Ondo State from Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, since he returned from his medical trip in Germany a few months ago. Take a listen to him.
The prolonged absence of the governor creates a governance vacuum, thereby impeding the effective administration of Ondo State. You also agree with me that out of the 36 states of the Federation, including FCT, when decision is being making, even at the high levels of the leadership, the Ondo State leadership is always absent in this regard, and which is invariably affecting the entire citizens of Ondo State. And that is why we are acting as a voice of other citizens at this time of the 21st century. It shouldn't have ought to be so. And that is why we are talking for this to be corrected. Equally distressing is the apparent political interferences by some persons not elected by the good people of Ondo State.
There's some portion of the press conference held in Abuja where the coalition and the civil society organization are speaking about Governor Akeredolu's whereabouts. Of course, there are some PDP opposition members in the state who are also agitating. There are some groups of elders and leaders in Ondo State who have held press conferences both in Ondo State and here in Abuja. What are the implications of this, legally speaking? has Governor Akeredolu done anything wrong in the eyes of the law? Is there vacuum in governance in Ondo State? And, well, we've heard reasons why Governor Akeredolu says he will not be in Ondo State physically for now until a few things have been resolved. We heard his aide some time ago on this program. But let's get some reactions and some legal perspectives to the new development. I'm being joined tonight by Dr. Benson Enikwome, who's a very senior lawyer and also someone from Ondo State. So perhaps he has a locus to speak about this matter. Thank you so much indeed, Dr. Enikwome, for joining us tonight.
Good evening, my brother. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah. Yeah, so I said, I mean, you have a local standard to speak about this matter because not only that you are a lawyer, you are also from Ondo State. But let's get a conversation started. Has Governor Akeredolu done anything wrong in the eyes of the law with the development and the agitation that ran the air about his whereabouts? He's being in Ibadan, and there hasn't been any hide and seek about that. The Akeredolu side of the divided said the reason why the governor is not able, they've stated the reason why the governor is not able to physically come into the state. But from your own point of view and in the eye of the law, has he done anything wrong?
Well, first and foremost, every citizen of Ondo State must sympathize and empathize with our governor. We didn't bargain for this. The ailment came not because Akeredolu needed to do something for this ailment to come. It was not his fault. Anybody can be sick. And I stand in here today to say we wish him well. And we pray that God, in his infinite mercies, will have mercy upon him and bring him back to Ondo State to do the work that he knows best how to do. Having said this, Ondo State has a boundary. It's bounded in the south by the Atlantic Ocean. It's bounded in the north by Kogi and Edo, part of Osun, Ogun, and all that have boundaries with Ondo State. Therefore, there is a boundary properly so-called that defines Ondo State. When Mr. Akeredolu campaigned in 2016 to be governor, he did not tell us he was going to rule us from Ibadan. He was campaigning as a candidate who wants to take over the affairs of Ondo State, and that must be noted. Ondo State is not to be ruled from Bayelsa or close state like Osun, let alone Oyo. We need to feel our governor. We need to see our governor. He is not a governor that was voted for in diaspora. Therefore, Mr. Akeredolu not being fine, I've said that, not his fault. But we demand that we should see him. The handlers that are telling us that Mr. Akeredolu can rule from any part of Nigeria may as well tell him to go to Sokoto State or Kano State and stay there to rule us. Therefore, those arguments are not tenable. We voted for him as our governor. Ondo State built a government house for him to stay. If he needs more, we will build more. Therefore, being outside of Ondo State has deprived us of a lot of benefits, namely the usual weekly executive council meeting, wherein approvals are given to some project and some decision of the state, have not been heard for several months. And therefore, when those things demand executive council decision, they are lacking. If anybody says in the last 3 months that Mr. Akeredolu has held executive council meeting with the state executive council, that person must be talking from the moon. And therefore, The Executive Council meeting is held in Executive Council chamber or in any of the offices that the governor may deem fit to hold same in Akure. It is not deemed to be held in Ibadan or anywhere whatsoever. 2, individuals who come to the state as investors who want to meet with our governor, they have been deprived this privilege. I'm aware that sometimes ago, the NDDC team came to Ondo State. There was nobody to attend to them because the governor was not available. And if the governor is not available, the law makes provision for his deputy to take charge. And that is why whenever any governor is campaigning for election or is to be voted in, a deputy must automatically be chosen with him. He is the one who chooses his deputy. So they have a joint ticket. So if Mr. Akeredolu is not around, it is reasonable, it is expected, it is logical to say, look, my deputy, hold forth for me. The acting capacity does not deprive Mr. Governor his governorship. As soon as he comes back, he takes over. When he went for his medical leave, we all prayed for him, and I do. And I said this on national television. I do, because I was once his aide. I don't wish my boss, my former boss, ill. He was former president of the NBA. So we don't wish him bad. We don't wish him evil. But the situation in which we are now, Mr. Kimbaloye, the state is greater than individual. And therefore, power must be handed over to be managed on his behalf by the acting governor pending the time when he returns to the office. When he returns to Ondo State,
Mr. Nikoma, if I may quickly jump in. So, so I mean, some people who are very familiar with the politics of Ondo State will say, oh, maybe because Nikoma is an Elijah man, and perhaps a Lucky Ayedatiwatu is an Elijah man, perhaps is the reason why you are advocating for in this kind of conversation. But the question will be: is there any vacuum in governance? There are those who say Governor Akeredolu, as some of the pictures we show on the screen have shown, that he's signing papers that are state of affairs that Mr. Akeredolu is superintending on from by proxy from Oyo State, nearby Oyo State. There are those who say there hasn't been any vacuum in governance in Ondo State, has it?
Well, I will address the issue of whether I'm an Elijah man or not. I am an Elijah man. I won't deny that particular fact. But you see, Mr. Kimbaloye, when something is wrong, we must say it is wrong. Whether an Elijah man or an Igbo man, it is immaterial. It is the law we are talking about. I said Ondo State has a geographical zone, a boundary. It is not an appendix to Oyo State. There is now a lacuna, a big one, in the governors of Ondo State. We can't see our governor. We can't feel our governor. We can't hear from our governor. For those who have argued that he signs papers, this is novel. Mr. Akeredolu is an extrovert person. I know him well. I haven't worked with him. If you pinch him with a pin, he will react. Mr. Akeredolu does not need to be kept incommunicado. In Elijah, we will say he has become Odudu. Odudu means somebody that you have kept incommunicado. We can't see the governor. We can't feel him. He can't talk to us. If we want to unburden our affairs to Mr. Governor that we voted for, we can't see him. It is not these aides that were appointed by him that we voted for. If we cannot see him, if we cannot hear him, if we cannot talk with him, if we cannot discuss with him, then who is he governing? Where is our governor? We need to see our governor. If he's indisposed, that's okay. We agree, that is the truth. But he must not hold us to the jugular. He must not hold us to ransom. The state must move forward. That is the point I'm making. Then coming to the larger issue, I didn't choose Mr. Ayedatiwa for him. He was the one who chose Ayedatiwa as his deputy. When the last time he chose Honorable Agbola Ajayi as his deputy, nobody chose for him. So it is his prerogative to choose whoever he wants as his deputy. But once he chooses and he wins, then it becomes a joint ticket between him and that individual. So what I am supporting is not because Mr. Ayedatiwa is an Elijah. No. I am saying this is what the law says. Where the governor is incapacitated, the deputy must of necessity take over as acting. And if those who are saying that Mr. Governor is signing, is doing his work, let them show us his present state. Let them come out in a video in which we address us and say, gentlemen, ladies of Ondo State indigenes, I am Aketi. Today is 17th day of November 2023. I'm talking to you. This is me. I will soon see you. We will believe them. But for somebody to come and be interpreting to us, this looks like Ali and the angels story, where only the righteous people can see the angel, and Ali will be bamboozling everybody. We are too enlightened for that particular purpose. And that's why I commend the likes of Chief Fashoranti, our elder statesman, Chief Olufalaye Stan and Oba, who sat together and said, we cannot continue this way. This was the way the country was being ruled when late Musa Yar'Adua was sick. And the Anduakas of this world were telling us, we spoke with him, we talked with him, we discussed. Ondo State should not become another laughing stock. We want to see our governor. If we can't see him, let power be transmitted to his deputy. He chose him. I didn't choose him. If he had gone to choose an Ijaw person,
all right. Let me jump in quickly. Since I'm talking to a very senior lawyer, just for a moment, Mr. Anukome, if you look at sections 89, section 190, section 191 of the Nigerian Constitution as amended, it establishes where there is vacuum, the role of the governor, where the deputy governor can take over. But I did ask the question when I started this conversation: is Governor Akeredolu is he in any way in any breach of any of these sections of this constitution?
Yes, of course. As much as it's not governing us from Ondo State, as much as we cannot see him, as much as he cannot hold meetings, as much as he cannot receive visitors, as much as he cannot address the citizens of Ondo State. Look at when there was challenge at Ayetoro, and Ayetoro was being submerged. We expected our governor to be there. If the man were to make, he could make statement. The people will feel it. The people will reject, oh, our governor has come to address
But does
us.
the Constitution, Dr. Anikiomei, does the Constitution either in inference or indirect reference to the matter at hand say categorically that a governor must be physically present in the state to govern the state?
We may need to look at section 190 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. And this is important.
Yeah,
section 190,
I'm looking at it right now. And
yes,
I can read, it has two subsections, yeah.
Very well.
And it says, whenever the governor is proceeding on vacation or is otherwise unable to discharge the functions of his office, he shall transmit a written declaration to the Speaker of the House of Assembly to that effect, and until he transmits to the Speaker of the House of Assembly a written declaration to the contrary, the deputy governor shall perform the functions of the governor as acting governor. Subsection 2 of 190 says, in the event that the governor is unable or fails to transmit the written declaration mentioned in subsection 1 of this section, within 21 days, the House of Assembly shall, by a resolution made by a simple majority of the vote of the House mandate the Deputy Governor to perform the functions of the office of the Governor as acting Governor until the Governor transmits a letter to the Speaker that is now available to resume his functions as Governor. But the question here is the fundamental words in the wordings and the intent of this section is whether he's unable to discharge the functions of his office and whether he's not present. Are those established? Has it been established that the governor is unable to perform the roles of his office? Because he did tell everyone that he was going away on medical vacation, but he has since returned. So is there any breach by Governor Akeredolu based on Section 190 you made reference to?
The governor is not an angel to say he is a spiritual being for which we cannot see him. Our governor is the governor of Ondo State. The clear intention of this section, particularly when you read subsection 1, it says whenever the governor is proceeding on vacation, if he's going on holidays, the law enjoins him to transmit. But the alternative is,
but he's not on holiday at the moment. He's been back from the medical holiday
function of his office
for several months.
Hold on, sir. Discharging the function of the office, I had worked with governors before. I worked with Governor Olusegun Agagu as his special assistant on policy planning, implementation, and special duties. The function of the office of the governor is enormous. It's onerous. There are papers to sign. There are things to be done. There are meetings to be held. Meeting during the day. He meets with the political officers. He meets with the party officers. The work is enormous. It's tasking. Where our governor has failed, we have not seen him to this effect. It goes to confirm that the discharging of his function to the state is missing. And if these functions are missing, then the state is losing. A governor said he came back from holidays. I think that was on the 8th of September. From on the 8th of September till date, no one except this Ali and the Angels group that see him, nobody is seeing him. We can't hear him. He cannot talk to us, either by telephone or conversation. Things to be done in the state, the governor is not present. If the governor is not present, did we vote for him to be a spiritual father who will be issuing order from Rome? Of course not. It should be in Akure. It should be in Ondo State. Even if
Dr. Nico, just quickly.
His physical absence
Dr. Nico,
Ondo
quickly.
State is tantamount to him not being around to do the work that he's engaged to do.
There was some political drama that took place within his cabinet as some members of his cabinet, passed a vote of confidence on him, and there are some of them who stayed away from that exercise. But I'd like my producers to bring back some of the pictures of Governor Akeredolu since he returned to Nigeria. Perhaps I'd like you to speak to them. On one hand is the cabinet passing a vote of confidence. But I'd like you to see this. His fellow governors in the Southwest paid him a visit. So when you say that nobody has heard him except some group of persons, how would you describe I hope that these pictures come on air, pretty soon, so that Mr. Enukome can be able to verify or speak to them of some of those who had visited Governor Makinde, the governor of Ekiti State, and a few others in the Southwest visited Governor Akeredolu. And I'm wondering, what do you make of that when you say, are you thinking otherwise when you say there's just a few people who can speak and hear from him?
Well, Mr. Kimbaloyi, the brother governors that visited him, they did well. But you will know, we never heard anything that the governor said in that meeting. I am to be proved wrong. We never heard the governor speak to anyone after the meeting. Yes, Governor Makinde, Governor Abiodun, Governor Sheyi, the governor of Lagos State, yes, they did visit him. But you see, if there were no issues, it won't be like this. For example, see the picture in which they are coming down. If a governor is fit and proper, he should ordinarily see his colleagues downstairs. He should follow them downstairs to say, oh, gentlemen, I thank you, I appreciate you, you have done well. None is seen in this picture that you are seeing. And none of the governors address the press to say, oh, our friend is recuperating, in this time, we're sure he will be okay. Come on, gentlemen, let's not deceive ourselves. We are not wishing Mr. Akeredolu dead. What we are saying is that as of today, he is incapable of performing the function of his office. This incapacity to perform dovetails to the local government. And it will surprise you that at the local government council, nothing is happening. I even heard that the Director General, what name they call them, the DG of local governments, are all taking money that they take, security votes, to run their local governments. It's because there is a dearth of leadership. It is that is the issue. There is
Dr.
a dearth in
I like
leadership.
us to close the conversation, and this is the manner in which I like us to close it. There are those who say, well, politics is coming. By January now, the politics of Edo and Ondo will resume. And that is perhaps one of the reasons why some people in Ondo State have now found their voice and speaking about Governor Akeredolu. In fact, those on Governor Akeredolu's side have said there is really nothing that has gone amiss in Ondo State. Everything has gone well. The only reason why people are talking and the opposition is talking is because of the politics, which will resume in another few weeks. Could it be the reason? The man is not feeling okay. He has said it. He's back in the country. He said he will be back on the ground when he resumes. And there are validated and confirmed political issues between himself and his deputy, and that has been established. From your own point of view, what would you say is the solution? A political solution or a legal solution, or what?
Two of them can well take place. Mr. Lucky Ayedatiwa, I heard him, and I also read him, that he said if there were to be anything that his boss saw that was wrong, that he apologized. I mean, it can't be more than that. If he has done that, then the other issue would be that the leadership of their party, which is APC, called the members of the House of Assembly and all other persons together in Abuja and spoke with them. And what we read in the papers was to the effect that the issue had been laid to rest. Where this imbroglio is coming, I don't understand. But again, like you mentioned, there are people who are interested in running for the office of the governor next year. And in order to amass enough wealth, they can use the sickness of Mr. Governor to be able to do that. Therefore, we are calling on all the citizens and indigents of Ondo State. We don't care whoever emerges in the APC or PDP or wherever it is, Ondo State deserves to be governed well. As at now, we are like a sheep without shepherd. We are rudderless. We are in the wilderness. And we need a Moses that will direct us. If a Moses dies, or he goes away, a Joshua comes in. And that's the way it's done. All we are asking that we pray Mr. Akeredolu returns well, but as at now, he is not fit and capable to govern Ondo State because we don't see him. We have not heard him. And therefore, we demand that the needful be done in that the House of Assembly should be bold enough to say, Mr. Governor, you will come back. But in the interim, the man you chose as your deputy will be the one that is in the saddle. If they are having issue with the deputy governor, pending the time when he's removed, he's deputy governor until they remove him. If they don't remove him, you can't use the word of mouth to say he's no longer deputy governor because we have issue with him. I think the right thing should be done. And like I said, I correct the impression. I am not one of the workers of Mr. Lucky Aiyedatiwa. I'm not one of his staff. I'm not one of his paid agents. This, I am speaking loudly and clearly. But me as a lawyer and as indigenous of Ondo State, a stakeholder in that place, and a person who has also paid his dues, it behoves me to join the voice of others and leaders to say, let Ondo State be governed well. Let power be transmitted to the deputy to manage the affairs pending the time when our governor will come over and take his seat. I'll be one of the persons who will take talking drum to the airport to welcome him when it's fit and proper to come up to Ondo State. I don't have any grudges against him. I wish Aketi well. I love his person, particularly when he fought on the issue of Amotekun. I was one of the persons that gave him kudos. He did well, but now ailment has affected him. Let us do the right thing by ensuring that his deputy takes over.
Dr. Benson Enukwuomehin, a lawyer, thank you so much for your time tonight and the perspectives that you have shared on the Ondo matter. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you, my brother. God bless you.
I appreciate it. When we return, our attention will be on the security of this country. We've heard what Mr. Nuhu Badu said. He said, be patient with this government. We are trying our best. We have met tough things. We have met tough things on the ground as we inherited them. But again, we have heard the Minister of State for Police Affairs say the president has ordered the removal of police escorts from VIPs. What is the implication of all of these? We're asking the question from our next guest on the program. Join us again, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. So a few days ago, the Minister of State for Police Affairs, Ms. Iman Sulaiman Ibrahim, says that there is a commitment to the implementation of President Bola Tinubu's directive on the withdrawal of police personnel from VIP security duties. Among other key mandates, the minister says that the commitment is very imperative and they will follow through. Let me allow you to listen to the Minister of State for Police Affairs.
Our collective successes extends beyond departmental boundaries. It hinges on collaboration with the ministry, the broader police ecosystem, and other stakeholders who perform critical function of government and have a critical role in the emergence and in the fulfilling of the renewed hope police agenda. Effective communication of our activities is indispensable to build public trust and confidence in the Nigerian police force. Let us be intentional in enhancing the image of the Nigerian police force. This is a shared institutional and moral burden on each member of the management team and their respective departments to rise to the occasion. Business as usual is not an option. We must pledge our unwavering support to ensure the emergence of a world-class police force for Nigeria. As you are aware, our key mandate includes developing and implementing a harmonized police report, amending the Police Act, executing Mr. President's directive on the withdrawal of police personnel from the VIP security duties, and developing a community policing strategy, amongst others. We must not see these mandates as a mere task, but as a transformative initiative that can enhance internal security in the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So the Minister of State for Police Affairs, Iman Ibrahim, speaking at a retreat earlier this week in Abuja. But let's get to speak on this matter. I have an expert, a security consultant, a former director with the DSS, Mr. Mike Ejiofor. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you for having me.
It sounded to me like I've heard this before, right? Withdraw escort from VIPs. I don't know whether it sounds like deja vu to you too.
Oh, well. Same usual song. Any IG that is appointed will come and tell Nigerians we're going to withdraw details so that we'll have sufficient manpower to tackle our security challenge. Immediately after they are withdrawn, they are sent back. But the interesting aspect of this is that the directive is coming from Mr. President. according to the Minister of State Police Affairs, who incidentally I have not met yet, but is a fellow of the Security Institute, where I'm the president. And you can see, because there's a proverb in my place, he say it's where you start washing hands that you see, who will be able to rush food. You can see the setup, chairman of the Police Service Commission, the IG, the Minister of Police Affairs, and the Minister of State. They seem to be working together for now. And that's a very good development for us. They all seem to be working together. Don't forget that then President Buhari promised to be recruiting 10,000 for 4 years, making 40,000. But because of the squabble between the Police Service Commission and the IG then, they were not able to do this recruitment. And the chairman of the Police Service Commission, who incidentally was a former IG too, has been able to harness and synergize all these people, bringing them together, to work together. And I think the process of recruiting for the police academy, and that's a good thing.
So, now, but why, if you look at it, Mr. Ejiofor, apologies, from Tafawa Balogun to Onovo, to Ringim, to Mohammed Abubakar,
yes.
Solomon Anase, Ibrahim Idris, Mohammed Adamu, to Kayode Egbetokun, all of the former police IG from Tafawa Balogun up until Kayode Egbetokun have made similar statement of withdrawing or the withdrawal of police escort on VIPs. But like Tafawa Balogun, for example, I remember the conversation between Tafawa Balogun and the then governor of Lagos, Bola Tinubu, who at that point, at the end of the day, Tafawa Balogun had to say the escort to judges should be returned, and they reviewed it, and in fact, eventually, they returned the escorts back to the VIPs. Why is it so difficult to withdraw escorts to VIPs?
You see, I believe that it's not difficult, but because of the classification of the VIPs, I think each IG that comes will want to see an audit of their men to see who and who is attached. I don't have any problem, giving details to politically exposed persons, especially people who are in government, like the National Assembly members of the executive ministers, and all the rest of them. But I get worried when you see people of no means, people who are known fraudsters being protected by the police. That's my concern. And I believe with this present directive from the president, it must be carried out to the letter. Now, if you see the way police operates with these people, it calls to question the integrity of the people that are protected and the number of people being deployed. You can see a member of National Assembly, a senator, going with 10, 20 policemen. What is it for? You see all these people who are fraudsters going about with policemen. They pay for this. I agree. But if they must give out these policemen to people who are qualified to be given protection, politically exposed persons, I don't have a problem with that. But the IG must go ahead to ensure that people who are not entitled, these policemen are withdrawn. My reason is this. You remember when Michael Kiro was the IG. He told us we have 450,000 as at then police strength. And out of the 450,000, over 150,000 were deployed to VIPs. So where do you get the people to do the necessary...
Mr. Ejiofor, yes. 370,000 police officers is what we know we have at the moment.
No, I'm just coming to that.
No, I mean, I'm just trying to take you to the next conversation. And the new IG has said he needs another 190,000. The United Nations established protocol or prescription for
1 to 400.
The ratio is 1 to 400 and 450. But in Nigeria, it's 1 to 600. Police officer to 600 citizens.
In Nigeria?
That's what the figure says.
It's more than
it should be more than that. But the question,
going with our population.
Exactly, especially if you estimate it at over 200 million.
Yes.
But the question is, can he get 190,000? If he withdraws, how many are the ones behind or the escorts on VIPs?
Yeah, the point I'm making is that, you know, since then, the past 8 years, people have been retiring and they are not being replaced in terms of recruitment. So we have less than the number. I don't have the exact figure, but we have less than that now. And if you can go to some stations, I pity the police. You go to some station, you see one policeman in a division or two. In a division, you call for help. There's no way they can come. There's no fuel, there's no vehicle, no writing materials, and all these things are there. But then,
use candles
if these people are withdrawn, let us enforce this withdrawal first and know the strength of the police. I'm not saying it's going to be sufficient, but let these people be withdrawn and see how they can be distributed. Like the Minister of State talked about, we should involve in community policing because the number of police we have is definitely not sufficient to tackle our security challenges. So let us, the Police Service Commission and the IG, let them work together, ensure that this withdrawal is implemented. It's not going to solve our problem, but it's going to help to ameliorate some of these challenges we have in terms of security.
If the IG is asking, give me 190,000, that's invariably about 200,000 more police officers with the 370,000 that is presently on hand, that's going to take us to about 600,000. Some will say that might be a reasonable number of police officers. With the economic situation in Nigeria today, will a 600,000 police officer in the force help Nigeria's security situation?
Well, it's not going to help because even if it's going to help, the problems and challenges are still there. How are you going to fund the training? You recall that there was a time these channels, you know,
we did an expose.
Yeah, expose in the police college. I don't think much has changed. Not because the police authority or management don't want to improve the welfare or training of the police, but the funds are not there. So how are you going to recruit 190,000? Are they going to recruit without budget? Or are you going to do extraordinary budget with all these economic challenges we're having? Yes. So we need to get these people withdrawn and get the communities involved. The citizens have to be involved. We don't need to rely on security agencies or the police alone, even though the police is the lead agency. It's not stopping at the police.
Yeah.
You can see some people being guarded by the soldiers now, which is also not good. Our military is being exposed
and overstretched.
Overstretched. So we need men.
I look at what happened today in Kaduna, where officers of Nigerian Air Force, the EFCC arrested some officers of the Air Force, and the officers of the Air Force went and executed a release of one of theirs.
Yeah, I don't have the details of that matter, but what I saw is that NAF raids EFCC over...
They stormed their office. There was somewhat a kind of siege. And you wonder, what kind of country are we in?
That shows you the issue of rivalry. But the rivalry, I can tell you...
or illegality?
Illegality.
How can the military go to,
I can tell you...
an anti-graft agency of...
leadership level, management level, there's much synergy. But the problems are coming from this rank and file. Because I'm sure no management staff or senior officer of the Air Force could have authorized the raiding of EFCC. So they need to be talked to and get these people. They need for them to work together. Because if you, I don't know, I saw a video this morning and people are saying he's kid. If he's kid, I expect the EFCC to come out and say something because that's very dangerous.
No, the EFCC is already speaking about it.
They need to speak about it, make official statement.
They've made an official statement, and They said that unfortunately, the intruders, after the sting operation, 6 military personnel who witnessed the operation at Disney Fried Chicken Eatery stormed the Kaduna command and attempted to forcibly release the arrested fraud suspects. They were subdued and detained over the security breach. The intruders are 4 Air Force personnel. While in detention, there were interagency communication and discussions by the leadership of the EFCC and the Nigerian Air Force staff to resolve the issues. Unfortunately, dialogue on the release of the combative Air Force personnel broke down on Friday when some unruly NAF officers stormed in Kaduna Command in a commando style to forcefully release their detained colleagues. This is not a banana republic.
That is exactly the point I'm making. But beyond this, I'm happy the EFCC has issued a statement.
But that's a statement from the EFCC.
But the one I'm even talking of is not related to this. There's a skit where a soldier was seen to be beating
some EFCC official. And disarmed
whether it's a skit or it's real. The EFCC needs to, because it doesn't portray the agencies in good light. They need to also make a statement on that. But I believe that the management of the Air Force and the EFCC should investigate it and bring the culprits to book. Because if you continue to, it shows more bad blood among the agencies. When they see, if you see any EFCC official now, the Air Force sees the EFCC official, you want to take a revenge. Or the EFCC will also want to take a revenge. So this is not good for us. We need to work harmoniously and work together.
I mean, I imagine that there will be a very stern, strong statement from the federal government about this kind of situation. Because this is not the first time. You remember what happened in Lagos, where, is it the police now or which agency went to the, was it the DSS or so, that went to the EFCC and the DSS. So, yes. I mean, this kind is a disgrace of some sort. When you see agencies, security agencies, maneuvering over one another, and this kind of public display of shameful display of arrogance and powers and all what have you. But I mean, moving forward, you heard what Mr. Ribadu said, that he met a lot of tough things on the ground, and he's asking for patience. Do you think the Nigerians have that kind of patience?
Well, we have no choice than to exercise patience. You recall that was on this table when Ribadu was appointed, NSA, there was a lot of opposition against his appointment. And I said, we can't continue to try the same thing, the same way, and expect a different result. Yeah. The military has had the headship of the National Security Advisor. Now, he has come out. You can see from what he's saying, he's not restricting himself to security. He'll go into economy, he'll go into politics, he goes into, he makes statements. And these are statements bordering on security. So it's good that he's giving reassurance to Nigerians to exercise patience. But much as I agree that we exercise patience, things are getting real difficult and very, very bad. So the earlier the government takes the initiative to ameliorate the problem, the sufferance of the masses, the better. So it's not just sufficient for him to say. There's a direct correlation between economic stability and security stability. Exactly. Because when there's poverty in the land, crime rate is likely to go on the rise. And in fact, in Abuja, you see the suburbs. There's not only in the suburbs. There are kidnappings. Crime wave now going up. In Maitama, it's at the heart of the city. Just few meters away from the Aso Rock Villa. I mean, and these things are happening every day. There are stories of private parts theft and all whatever. And disappearance of private parts. Yeah, these are stories. But if there is something that you think that the president needs to show to Nigerians that he's on top of the game in terms of security, what do you think he should be doing right now? Well, you see, we're going into the end of year and Christmas, which normally witnesses a rise in crime wave. So Nigerians must be security conscious. They must assist our security agencies by volunteering information, like he's always said. You see something, say something. So let us just follow the hand, because it could be anybody can be a victim now. So we need to support our military. But if the president needs to do something now to show Nigerians that he's resolute, not only in tackling any other aspect, because we're challenging on every side, but in terms of security. This very decision now must be followed through of withdrawing the policemen there. At least that will give reassurance, whether it is effective or not, but it will give reassurance that people have been withdrawn and we have more men to work with.
Mr. Mike Ejiofor, our former DSS director, thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
But that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimalo. Bye-bye.